Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a training run video, and a training run video basically is I'm going to be playing Rocket League on free play. It's been a while. I'm a little rusty. I haven't played this game in a little while, but basically, yeah, I'm going to be training a little bit on free play while I talk about a specific subject that interests me. Full disclosure, I'm a plat, and honestly the gameplay doesn't matter that much. It's more about the subject that I'm talking about. Okay, first shot of the day. Oh, wow. So yes, the subject that I want to talk about today is the Mount Rushmore of Rocket League players. Basically, Mount Rushmore has 4 presidents, right? It's like the history of the presidents. Oh, come on. Nice. So yeah, Mount Rushmore has 4 presidents, which represent 4 presidents that were really important to American history and key moments of American history. So I'm gonna try to be doing that, but instead with Rocket League. So I'm gonna pick 4 players that I think are, the best players with the best legacy in Rocket League. They don't particularly have to be the best players right now at the moment. It's just the players that are very important to the history and the legacy of Rocket League. So yeah, obviously I do want to say I'm not a Rocket League expert. I started watching Rocket League when it became free to play. I'm one of those scrubs, And obviously this list is gonna be subjective. If you have a different list of mine, feel free to share them in the comment section. I don't mind if people disagree with me. If they agree with me, but if they agree with me, even better, because we're base. So yeah, the first person I'm gonna start with is Kronovi. Okay, Kronovi, see, I don't know that much about, all his history, but what I learned, it's enough for me to know that he was very important, especially in the beginning stages of Rocket League. So yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Kronovi is one of those players that played the first iteration of Rocket League, which is the game that preceded Rocket League, which is called Supersonic Battle Cars, something like that, right? Kronovi was one of the players that actually played that. So when he came to Rocket League, he was killing people, bro. Him and other players that have played the previous game had an advantage over newer players that had no idea how the mechanics work. At least they knew a little bit because they had a little bit of experience with it, and that really helped them in the first 2 years to be like one of the best players in the game. But I also think he was one of the most viewed Rocket League content creators at the time. I've heard in videos that they used to call him the poster boy for Rocket League at that time, and I think he was very important to the history of Rocket League. Even by today's standards, even though he's not popping anymore, people know of Kronovi and they know of his history with the game and his legacy. And yeah, so I would give the first spot to Kronovi. Now the second spot I would give to Turbo Pulsa. And we all know that Turbo Pulsa has won 4 times. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure it was 4 times that he has won already. So he's the player that has the most wins. In some cases he has been an underestimated player. I think he won as a sub. I can't remember for who. I think it was NRG. No, with NRG he wasn't a sub. He won as a sub with a first team. I can't remember who, but I know he won. He also won with NRG. And he's won 4 times. And Turbo people think he's a bad player. Or not a bad player, let's say, but not, the most mechanical player. But I've seen Turbo Pulsa in comms, and I've seen him play with people, and even though he's not the most mechanical, he has very good positioning, he has very good comms. I think Turbo Pulsa is a really smart player, you know what I mean? He knows how to play the game without being too flashy. It's more about being effective and being, I think, a good teammate, being at the right place, making the right plays. You also have to acknowledge his 4-time championship, bro. He's the only guy that has done that. And having that legacy of being a 4-time champion, I think it's part of the Rocket League history. So I feel pretty comfortable putting him up there with Kronovi. So on to the third guy. The third guy on the list would be for me. Oh, double tap? No. So yeah, the third guy on the list for me would be Garrett G. Oh! Now Garrett G hasn't won as much as Turbo Pulsa, but I think Garrett G has been to every championship. He always makes it there with different kind of teams. I know a little bit about his history too, about, you know, how he kept getting there to the championship, but never quite winning until he actually won. And even though he hasn't won as much as Turbo Posa, he's always made it there, and he's always been a prevalent figure in the Rocket League history. Oh my God! As a side note, I want to say that I actually love Garrett as a player, as a content creator. I really like his personality. I really like how he plays. I still think he's a superb player. I think he's a very smart player. Maybe he's not as mechanical as, you know, kids are nowadays, like the younger generation are nowadays. But he is mechanical, and he's smart, and he knows all about good positioning. As we all know, in the Rocket League scene, they call him Captain America. He's the Captain America of Rocket League. I say bits about, you know, his history in Rocket League, his legacy. I think that video was made by Sunless Khan, actually. And it's one of those videos that got me interested in the history of like Rocket League in terms of esports. And, you know, I loved it. It really intrigued me, and it really intrigued me to search deeper and go a little bit deeper into the Rocket League history. So yeah, I feel pretty comfortable putting Garrett at third. Honestly, I do think he deserves that spot and being there. Now the fourth player is gonna be a bit tricky for me. Like I said, I'm not an expert on Rocket League history. I know my fair share, but obviously there's some people that are gonna know more. So for the first spot, it's a little tricky for me. I got a few people that I'm thinking of, but from the people that I'm thinking of, I think I'm gonna have to say it's Squishy. Dude, I'm iffy about this choice, okay? Because Squishy obviously has won a championship, and when he burst out into the scene with the whole Clan 9 team and his whole previous team, I don't know, he was doing a lot of stuff that was pretty innovative in the Rocket League scene in terms of esports. Oh my God! So yeah, when Squishy was at that peak in Rocket League, he was really dominating, and people were really impressed by like what he was bringing to Rocket League in general. His playstyle, how mechanic he was at that time. He's still mechanical. He's still a very mechanical player, and I still think he's a very good player. He's another one of those players that I got to know his history through watching videos that they've done on him. And that run that he had for a while was really amazing. And I think it was really influential on Rocket League too. And to this day, his name and his legacy still holds weight. People still know Squishy, and somehow that name, because of how silly it sounds, or like how aloof or like witty it sounds, I don't know, it carries like a lot of legacy in that name. And obviously it's because of what he did. But the name itself, I think, has become ingrained in Rocket League history, like Squishy, bro. It's Squishy. So yeah, I would say I would put Squishy at fourth, honestly, because I can't think of anybody else that would be in that spot that's better than him in terms of, like, you know, leaving a legacy in Rocket League. So yeah, to summarize, my Mount Rushmore, my personal one, would be Kronovi, Turbo Posa, Garrett G, and Squishy. Now, even though it's a subjective list, I would say Kronovi is a very solid pick. It would be hard for me to see other people's like Mount Rushmore of Rocket League and not include Kronovi. I think he's like a must. And Turbo Posa also feel like a must. I don't know about Garrett G and Squishy. I feel pretty confident Garrett G should be up there too, but Squishy, I don't know, right? But when it comes to my first choices, which was Kronovi and Turbo, I do think all of that. Oh my God! Oh my God! Dude, that would have been sick! So yeah, when it comes to my last two choices, Garrett and Squishy, I think, you know, there's room for debate on those two. You know what I mean? I would allow myself to have room for debate for those two, but honestly, I just can't think of, right now at the moment, I can't think of people that were more influential to the game than those two. So yeah, that's my list for the Mount Rushmore Rocket League. If anybody watches this and has a different list, feel free to share them in the comment section. And you want to go into detail as to why, feel free to post them in the comment section too. It's interesting for me to read. I mean, I make these videos because I'm just a fan of the game, and I'm a fan of the history of Rocket League too. So yeah, do that if you want. If you like this video, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.